I just got back from Port Aransas, and I can't stop thinking about the salty vibes and sun-soaked memories from the Texas coast. Port Aransas is such a unique beach town. It's a place where family traditions unfold naturally, like surfing with my daughter, and beauty lies both in island views and the unhurried moments between adventures, like parasailing with the entire family. One visit and you'll see why generations of Texans have anchored their traditions to the island life. Start your new favorite family traditions in Port Aransas, Texas. Go to visitportaransas.com and plan your trip to Houston's beach.
Holocaust Museum Houston's new exhibit, Unveiled from the Vault, is now on view through January 4th. Unveiled from the Vault explores the history of the Holocaust through a curated selection of artifacts from the Holocaust Museum's permanent collection, many of which are being displayed for the first time. Admission is free for everyone on Thursdays from 2 to 5 p.m. and always free for children and students through the age of 18 and college students with a valid student ID. Get your tickets now at hmh.org/tickets.
Today on CityCast Houston, I'm catching you up on the news with executive producer Laura Isensee, including President Trump coming after Beyoncé. Yes, Queen Bee. It's Tuesday, July 29th. I'm Raheel Ramzanali, and here's what Houston's talking about. Hey, before we get started, I want to remind you that this week we're launching CityCast Houston Neighbors, our brand new membership program where you can support this show and unlock benefits designed to help you engage more deeply in the life of our city. And you can read more about those benefits and join the neighborhood at membership.citycast.fm. But more than the perks, joining CityCast Houston Neighbors is the best way to support what we're doing right here on the podcast and in our awesome newsletter, Hey Houston. We bring you smart, curious local stories every weekday. We recap the news. We set up the big fight between President Donald Trump and Beyoncé. And Laura, it's not that expensive.
Yeah, it's just $10 a month to become a member of the CityCast Houston Neighbors program. And, $10 a month or $100 a year. And I get it, with inflation, to some folks, that is a lot. And again, totally get that. But here's the thing. You think about what is worth $10. Maybe it's the cost of some eggs these days or a gallon of organic milk. It's definitely less than one of my favorite cocktails at some of the best cocktail bars around H-Town. So basically what we're asking is that if you could afford just one more gallon of milk, or for me, oat milk, or just half a fancy drink, would you consider supporting CityCast Houston? Because we depend on your support.
It's the price of a mocktail as well, because I had one over the weekend and that cost me $12. It's like, really? A mocktail? Come on. What are we doing here? But I should have just taken that and gotten a CityCast Houston Neighbors membership. And look, we do depend on you. So join today at membership.citycast.fm. And don't forget, we're giving away free CityCast Houston totes to everyone who joins this week as a founding member. Again, this is only this week, so get your awesome CityCast Houston Neighbors tote. They are totally cool and they look great. You can get more information at membership.citycast.fm. All right, Laura, let's jump into the news because there is a lot going on. We're going to talk about some local stories impacting us, including the scooter ban that I want to get into right away.
Yes.
But also we're going to talk about stories of immigration and stories of Texas under Trump. But look, this scooter ban has people riled up. So right now, the city is considering banning all electric scooters in downtown and parts of Midtown as well, because businesses, parks, hotels, and others started to complain about safety issues and crime as well with these scooters. Now, these scooters have been linked to 3 deaths and more than 53 accidents since 2021. Have you gone to downtown and have you been annoyed by these scooters yet?
I have not been annoyed by the scooters here in downtown Houston, but the last time I went to Austin, I was really annoyed by the scooters. And I've done them like once or twice, but I won't ride again after I've read about all the injuries that people have. They don't give you a helmet with your scooter. Like, I think that should be part of it. I didn't know that there's these links to crime, but I think just on the safety, if not a ban, like something to improve safety, like maybe, hey, have more bike lanes. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe keep them in the bike lanes. That would be great. So I go to downtown usually on the weekends, right? Like I go once a month and you'll see these scooter pop-ups everywhere. So there's two things going on. There are businesses that are brick and mortar and they're renting out these scooters. They're also doing scooter tours and all that good stuff. And then
Hmm.
there's these businesses that just pop up on the corners of parking lots in downtown and then just rent out these scooters, right? And they're a little bit more unregulated. So that is
Yeah.
a big issue. Like when you just have these businesses pop up and they're doing whatever they want,
Yeah.
then yeah, it gets kind of dangerous. I don't like it when the government, anybody tries to do an outright ban. Like that annoys me. It annoys me with the THC ban. It annoys me with the scooter ban. Let's figure this out and let's regulate it. I'm okay with some regulations. Like let's make it safe. Let's make common sense regulations so businesses don't have to shut down, right? Because throughout the last few days, I've been seeing local business owners in the scooter side, basically like pleading with the city, don't ban this because you will take away my livelihood. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I get that, at the same time, like what I've been reading about this is that more people are living downtown than ever. And the residents don't like them.
Mhm.
And I think there's also an issue of like, where do these scooters go? Because they're not safe on the sidewalk because people are walking and they're motorized. But then are they really safe on the street when you have cars going 30, 35 miles an hour?
Yeah.
And again, like, where's the helmet? Like, please put on a helmet.
It's so scary. And these things are going fast. Some of these will hit like 15 miles per hour plus.
Yeah. So I think we'll see like if the city council goes for an outright ban or, try to get some more regulation. I don't know what that regulation would look like, but in the mix of all these scooters, there are illegal e-scooters like you said, these pop-ups that just kind of like are fly by
Mhm.
night and they just start renting them out. And Councilwoman Abby Kamen, like she wants to find some middle ground like you're talking about.
I think that is the way to do it. And I heard one business owner put it perfectly. He's like, we don't ban rental cars when people who rent cars get in accidents, right? We regulate it. We, punish the people who are driving. So give more citations, maybe. That could be a way. But yeah, I think just an outright ban won't be the best thing. I will just say from personal experience, when I'm there on Saturday or Sunday, when these scooters are all over the place, no problem. Like they haven't impacted me that much. I see them, they're not cutting me off or anything. But again, this is my experience. And I
Hmm.
understand from the business owners and residents who are there all day, like, hey, this gets annoying. So I get it. I hope there's just
Yeah.
some regulation and not an outright ban. Another thing that's impacting us right now is the special session and redistricting.
Yeah.
What's the latest on that? Because we've talked about it a little bit, but I know we've got some updates.
Yeah, you and Faith Bugenhagen with Cron.com talked about it, like kind of what's going on, how this came up in the special session on the podcast earlier this week. So, the big update locally is that there was a hearing right here at the University of Houston, and hundreds of people showed up. KHOU reported that there were around 700 people who spoke, including some public figures. Former presidential candidate Beto O'Rourke came, a bunch of high profile Texas Democrats, but also just regular folk from around Houston. And this testimony went on for like 6.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
People have real opinions because this proposed redistricting, which is completely out of cycle, like we just had the 2020 census. We had new maps drawn. Those are still being debated in court. But if we get another round of new maps, several congressional districts right here in Houston could get redrawn. And so it was really interesting reading some of the comments that KHOU reported that, there were some Houstonians there who identify as Republican and they don't support this move because it takes away from the sense of community and cohesiveness and just the democratic process. So I highly recommend following this. Tensions were really high, and I'm really curious to see where this goes in the special session.
Yeah, State Representative Armando Wally, I think, had one of the best quotes from this hearing. And I'm just going to paraphrase this, where he said, hey, Republicans want to redraw the maps that they already put in place. Like, what's happening?
Yeah, the Republicans are saying these maps that we drew a couple years ago, those are illegal. And so now we need to do new maps. But it's like,
Okay.
Why did you do illegal maps? Like, it's really a reflective, I think, of the politics of today, that we're in a state of very partisan politics. And we know a lot of this is coming from President Trump. So that's another topic for today of Texas under Trump.
Yep. Let's talk about that next. Houston, it's time for one of my favorite things, Houston Restaurant Weeks. Houston's most anticipated foodie event will celebrate its 22nd year starting August 1st and running through Labor Day, September 1st. Almost 400 restaurants will be on board, offering fixed-price brunches, lunches, and dinners. Restaurants from the Galleria, Inner Loop, West Houston, East End, Midtown, Downtown, Sugar Land, Galveston, and the Woodlands will be participating. You catch my drift. There are a lot of restaurants. Here's the best part. When you dine out, you're raising funds for the Houston Food Bank. So it's your turn to dine out and do good. Get started by going to HoustonRestaurantWeeks.com and browse all of the restaurants and menus. You can even search by the type of cuisine you want, the neighborhood, the meal, the price, and much more. It's time to celebrate one of the best things about H-Town, our food. And you can do it with Houston Restaurant Weeks. Again, that's HoustonRestaurantWeeks.com.
Hey Houston, it's producer Carleon Jones here, and I want to invite you to become a CityCast Houston neighbor. Our membership program is designed for people like you who love Houston and want to see CityCast Houston thrive. We're calling it neighbors because neighbors and neighborliness are a part of the heart of what CityCast is trying to do. Neighbors drop by the barbecue, neighbors spill the tea on the best restaurants to try, and neighbors catch you up on all the controversial news going on, including the car break-ins happening in Montrose. Better neighbors make better cities, and that's what CityCast Houston is here to do. When you support CityCast Houston, you're helping us make this amazing, complex city a better place to live. And just for $10 a month, you'll get the satisfaction of supporting our work and benefits that will help the city come alive for you. As a CityCast Houston neighbor, you'll get inside access to members-only events, volunteer meetups, ad-free listening, and a weekly roundup of the best things to do in the city. You don't want to miss that. And even the chance to shout out your favorite local nonprofit or business on the show. Plus, when you become a neighbor this week, we'll send you an exclusive CityCast Houston neighbor welcome tote bag as a gift. So let's redefine what it means to be a good neighbor in Houston together by heading to membership.citycast.fm to become a CityCast Houston neighbor today.
All right. You just heard some ads right here on CityCast Houston. And if you don't like ads, then guess what? You can get rid of them with our new CityCast Houston Neighbors program. One of the benefits when you join CityCast Houston Neighbors for just $10 a month or $100 a year is that you get ad-free listening. Look, I love our sponsors. Okay, they are absolutely amazing. But this has happened to me when I'm listening to podcasts. I'm driving, and when I hear an ad, I'm like, I want to forward this ad. So I start fumbling, and then I take my eyes off of the road, and all of a sudden, guess what? I'm putting myself in danger. So I'm just going to join CityCast Houston Neighbors. So no more ads, and I get ad-free listening for just $10 a month, and now I'm driving safer. So this is a safety issue, okay? Be a better driver, and we can all be better drivers in the city of Houston. Don't fumble around trying to find your phone and forward through ads. Just get rid of them. And it's totally cool. I'm good with it. I love my sponsors, but I'm good if you want to get rid of the ads.
$10 a month. It's not that much. Just $10 a month.
And you can sign up right now at membership.citycast.fm. And if you sign up this week, you get a membership tote that is exclusive for our founding members of CityCast Houston Neighbors. So please do that right now, membership.citycast.fm. Okay, Laura, today, when we were discussing what we want to talk about, I was not ready to talk about a potential matchup between President Donald Trump and Queen Bee, Beyoncé. What is happening?
Okay, do you remember when Beyoncé came to Houston last fall? It was October. It was not for Cowboy Carter tour. It was not to give a performance, but she came for a rally to support and endorse Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
It was last October at the Shell Energy Stadium. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah, it was a big deal. All eyes were on Houston for that.
Fast forward, we had the election. Harris did not win. Trump won, but he's not letting this go. He went on Truth Social and said, we need to prosecute Beyoncé because he is alleging that she illegally accepted a payout of $11 million to endorse Harris, which, if that were true, it's illegal to accept money quid pro quo for an endorsement. But here's the thing, there's no evidence. Like, journalists have investigated this claim. PolitiFact has checked it out. Harris's former campaign manager has denied these payments. There is absolutely no evidence, no proof. Beyoncé, Houston girl, wanted to support Harris, which is her
Oh
right
my
as a
gosh.
citizen and
Yeah.
using her voice. And she chose to do that. And Trump won the election, but here he is calling out for a prosecution of Queen Bee, which is just, this is the world we live in.
This is. And Queen Bee wasn't the only one. He also accused Oprah Winfrey, Reverend Al Sharpton, of receiving payments from the Democrats for their endorsements. And he had this quote. He said, "Can you imagine what would happen if politicians started paying for people to endorse them? All hell would break out." Huh. Okay. Well, I don't know. Didn't Elon Musk put together a super PAC for President Trump? I get it. It's like,
Yeah.
you're kind of benefiting. Okay. You're
Yeah.
also benefiting from this President Trump. And I know it's kind of going the other way, but yeah, this is why just take money out of politics, please. Like, get rid of it. But going after Queen Bee for her just endorsing Kamala Harris makes no sense. Like, I get it. You're mad. I guess he just wants only people to support President Trump. Is that what's happening here? I don't get it.
No, I don't think that's what's happening. I think what's happening is this is part of the Trump playbook of distractions. Trump is getting a lot of heat from his base about the Epstein files. We won't go into that. That's a whole rigmarole. But this
Yeah.
is part of the Trump playbook that we saw from his first presidency. That he's the king of distractions. Something is getting traction, so he kind of throws something else out. And I think he's just trying to play to his base, and his base is really upset with him right now.
Yeah.
But I do think there's like other things that are directly impacting us, like right here in Houston, of how the Trump administration is playing out and impacting, what we call Texas under Trump here on CityCast Houston. So what are you seeing, Raheel?
Yeah, one story I saw was a Houston man who was born in College Station, by the way. This is important, okay? The reason I'm bringing up these cities, he was detained by ICE outside of his house for 2 hours, even after he showed ICE agents his ID and was like, "Hey, I am a citizen. I was born here. Why are you detaining me?" So Miguel Ponce, he kept telling ICE agents that, but then ICE agents were telling him, "No, you have a deportation order. You look like somebody that is on the list," and they detained him. And they showed him no warrant. They just showed him a picture of the other person that they were looking to detain. And that was it. That was the only evidence that they presented him, even after he
Mhm.
kept pleading with them, like, "Hey, guys, I live here.
Yeah.
I am a citizen. What are you doing?" He was
Yeah.
detained by them for 2 hours. And then get this, Laura, when they finally let him go, this is allegedly what they said. They said, "Hey, shave your beard off so we won't mistake you again." What?
Mhm. Yeah. It's not really on him. They need to make sure they have the right person. And did that happen right here in Houston, or was that in College Station?
No, it happened right here in Houston. And why can't they just run his ID and figure out, like, okay, this is not the guy? I get it. You mistake people all the time. And you know what? You want to check this guy. That's okay. I get it. Police do that. ICE is going to do that. But when they present you an ID, and just like a traffic stop, when you give an ID to an officer and they run your ID and they go, "Okay, hey, you're not that guy. There's no warrant. You're good." Why would you detain him for 2 hours? This is so odd.
Well, here's the thing that we're hearing more and more of these types of stories of federal agents, whether they're from ICE or Customs and Border Patrol, detaining and questioning citizens or people who have legal permanent residency, like green cards. I'll share another one that just came out in the last few days. Houston Matters over at Houston Public Media, they did an interview with this man, Wilmer Chavarria. He was flying through Houston. He had gone to Nicaragua to visit family. He himself is a naturalized U.S. citizen, has been for years. He's a superintendent of a school district in Vermont, very educated man. And something he's done many times, fly through Houston internationally to visit family in Central America. And just like Miguel that you were talking about, Wilmer was stopped, detained, and questioned for 4 to 5 hours by Customs and Border Patrol
Wow.
officers in plain clothes. And what he told Houston Matters was that some of them never showed their ID or badges. They wanted to confiscate his electronic devices. And at first, he really tried to resist that because he said, I'm a superintendent. I have to follow federal rules on student privacy. This has sensitive student data, and they just wouldn't listen to him. And the thing that really disturbs me from this news report was that the agents told him that he had no constitutional rights as a U.S. citizen at a port of entry, which is
Huh?
completely incorrect. We do have rights as citizens at ports of entry. And I'm just going to read one more quote from him. He told Houston Matters, I've never really been through something like I went through this week. And so something clearly has changed. And yes, what has changed is Trump's policy on immigration, not just for the so-called criminals, but really anyone who doesn't fit the mold. And I just think this is such an important story for us here in Houston because of our demographics, because we have so many naturalized citizens, we have so many legal immigrants who are working and living and contributing to our economy and society. And Bush Airport is a huge hub for international travel. And I'm just thinking, this is not good for Houston. I mean, if
No.
CPB is going to be detaining and questioning people who have legal papers, naturalized citizens, work authorizations, this is just not good for Houston. How many
It's
people
not.
come through Houston to travel, for tourism, to pass on to another international destination for oil and gas economy? It's not good for Houston.
I have a couple of thoughts here. So first, being detained at the airport is not new. Like that happens when we travel internationally. I know people who have been pulled aside and questioned. Usually it's like 30 minutes and that's it. But at no point do I remember the officials asking to get this person's personal phones and
Mhm.
digital devices. Like that seems like such an intrusion right there. Like, no, you will not be getting my devices. But that is the world we live in. I know multiple people who, when they travel internationally, when they are flying back, they delete all of their social media, they delete their WhatsApp groups, and they want nothing. They want no evidence on their phone that could be perceived as something that is dangerous, I guess.
Or critical of the administration.
Critical, like it could be something I don't know, like they're just afraid. They don't want to be questioned. They don't want their devices being used against them, so they just take that step and they're like, you know what, we're just deleting everything so you have nothing
Mhm.
against us, even though there's nothing on those social apps or WhatsApp where you are afraid of, but you never know, right? Like you never know what an official might consider dangerous, quote unquote. So this is disgusting. This is scary. It makes me not want to travel internationally as somebody who is a naturalized citizen. But I wonder, Laura, if this is what they want, and them being the administration, that they want fear. They want fear just running amok in our communities.
I mean, I think that's part of the crackdown is to invoke fear. I mean, the administration has been clear that they want people to self-deport. And so, the more difficult they can make everyday actions and habits, travel, the more people will leave and reach Trump's quota of how many people he wants to leave. And I imagine maybe it doesn't matter to the Trump administration whether people are, immigrants or naturalized citizens or, maybe it's just all the same to them. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And this is so sad because this is the second time that we've heard about a story like this. Was only 4 to 5 hours, but remember Pooja Lodia of ABC 13, she did a story about a Palestinian man who was coming over to see his dad. He was detained for 9 days in a waiting room. Like just he
Wow.
was held there and wasn't let go until Pooja did a story on it. So
Wow.
like what are we doing here?
Yeah.
This is not this is not the United States that I know. But maybe that's what they want. They don't want it to be like before.
I'm glad you brought that other case up because I think we need to keep talking about this because I think when you have these individual stories, people may say, oh, well, that was just, like one case or that just happened to that one person. But I think it's important to keep talking about it because they aren't just one off cases. And this is continuing to happen and it is impacting our community here in Houston. So we're going to keep talking about it on CityCast Houston. And if y'all have thoughts, send them to us.
Yeah, please send it to us. Send us a voicemail. We would love to hear from you, and we will play those voicemails on a future episode. You can call at 713-489-6972. It's going to ring, and then it's going to go to voicemail, and that's when you will leave us that voicemail. I check it every single day, and then we will try to play it on a future episode. Okay, coming up next, the impact of Texas under Trump on our wallets and our grocery stores. Plus, do we really love our city more or do we love our state more?
The Nordstrom Anniversary Sale is on now. Shop new arrivals on sale for a limited time from Madewell, Bobbi Brown, New Balance, and more. You'll find tons of deals under $100 on summer-ready fits, plus beauty exclusives from your favorite brands. Nordstrom makes shopping easy in stores at Nordstrom.com and on their app. Hurry, prices go up August 4th.
I just MailChimped my marketing.
You MailChimped your what?
I MailChimped my marketing with AI to create an effective marketing campaign in minutes.
No, MailChimp and Way.
Yes, MailChimp and Way. Now I can hyper-personalize my campaigns across email and SMS.
You can do all that with MailChimp?
What did I just MailChimp and say?
MailChimp your marketing with the #1 AI-powered email marketing and automation platform, Intuit MailChimp. #1 based on publicly available data on competitors' customers. Plans vary. SMS available as add-ons. Visit MailChimp.com.
Okay, so we've been talking about Texas under Trump, and Raheel, I know you care about how much you're spending at the grocery store. I know
So
you're
much.
checking the receipts.
Every
You're looking for the
time.
coupons. You're looking for the best deal. And I'm sorry to break it to you, but things might get more expensive at the grocery
no.
store and other things that you're buying because we're about to get hit with some really big tariffs with our largest trading partner here in Texas, which is Mexico.
Oh my gosh. The T word again. I thought we were
I
done with
know.
the tariffs. I thought we were all set. Like, I thought Trump did his thing and flexed his muscles and we got everything worked out. So you're telling me now we're going to get tariffs on Mexico?
Yes, yes. I mean, it's so hard to keep track of these tariffs because it seems like they're always changing. But what we know right now is that, earlier in the spring, Trump and the Mexican president, they worked out a deal. So Mexico was largely excluded from the tariffs. But that is going by the wayside. Trump sent a new letter to the Mexican president and announced that he's going to increase tariffs on Mexican goods imported into the States by 30% on August 1st. So later this week, as it is right now, of course, anything can change. Things change with these tariffs day by day. But as of right now, all these businesses, all these people who import produce and products from Mexico, they are saying, we've dodged a bullet and we can't dodge it this time. Like, we are going to be feeling this strain because, again, Mexico is the largest trading partner for us here in Texas. So you just can't escape this. Our friend Paul Cobbler, he's a reporter now with the Texas Tribune, and he did a great breakdown. And I think really it's that fresh produce is one thing that you might see change. So like watermelon, squash, bell peppers, cucumber. Do you like cantaloupe or
I
heel?
love cantaloupe. I get a cantaloupe like twice a week.
Okay, well, you're either going to be paying more because a lot of those are imported from Mexican farms, or some of these farmers and importers may decide, you know what, this 30% tariff is just not worth it.
Oh,
we're just not going to bring them in. So you might have a hard time finding your cantaloupe at the grocery store.
by the way, Texas traded a total of $281 billion with Mexico last year.
How many billion?
$281 billion. That's just Texas. As
Yeah.
nations, we traded $840 billion.
Yeah.
And now we are going to strain those relationships and put the tariffs in place. So I thought the whole thing during the election cycle, remember last year when President Trump won, we recapped it and we mentioned multiple times, people were frustrated with the cost of living, how expensive
Mhm.
things are. And this was a vote on just the economy and personally how expensive things have gotten.
Mhm.
Things are still expensive and getting more expensive potentially if these tariffs go through again. As of right now, this is scheduled for August 1st. So I thought that was the big reason that
Yeah.
President Trump won. But it doesn't seem like we're seeing the benefits of this.
Yeah. I think, again, Trump sees himself as like the deal maker, and this is his version of deals. So, maybe we'll see some change. But if this goes through, Ed Hers, he's an economist. I think he's one of the best economists in Houston. He's over at the University of Houston, and he told the Texas Tribune that this is going to be devastating for US Mexico trade.
Yeah.
There's so many companies in the US that depend on Mexico for supplies. And so there's going to be some really hard decisions, including for us and our wallets.
And my cantaloupe.
Yeah, your cantaloupe. So stay tuned. Let's wrap this up on a high note. Those are some difficult stories, important to talk about, but difficult. We like to
Yeah.
keep things fun here as well on CityCast Houston.
Okay, my question for you is, are you proud to be a Texan or are you proud to be a Houstonian?
Oh, this is hard because I am a Texan. Like, I think of myself as a Texan before a United States citizen. Like, I cherish being from Texas, even though, it's complicated. Same with Houston. But I would say, like, Houston is home. Houston is where the heart is. So, yeah, I got that H-Town pride.
Well, you're like 64% of other Texans who, in a recent survey, said that they are proud of their city, while 48% said they are proud of our state. So, this was an interesting
Okay.
survey that I wanted to end with and get your thoughts on. It's so funny when I'm traveling abroad, I'm like, Texas, Texas, Texas. And yes, again, it is a complicated relationship, but I am proud to be a person who moved here and I consider myself a local Texan, a native Texan, even though I wasn't born here. But I've spent, every single year of my life, except for 5 of them,
Yeah.
being in Texas. And I love the state. I do love Houston more.
Okay, that was going to be my question. What do you
Yeah.
love more? Do you love Texas more or do you love Houston more?
Oh man, Houston more for sure. Houston, like the city pride is undeniable. I love H Town. I'm gonna rep H Town. It is my city. I will live here as long as I can foresee because I love living here. But I still put up for the state. Like I still rep the state. Like Texas is still Texas. So I'm shocked that only 48% of the survey takers are prideful of our state. That's low. I thought it'd be very high.
Yeah, I was surprised that some of these other states, I was taking a look at it, and some of the states with the most pride were like Michigan, which no knock to Michigan. Actually, one of my grandparents was born in Michigan. So no knock to Michigan, but like Texas, everything's bigger in Texas. Don't mess with Texas. We're the Lone Star State. We were a country before we were a state. Okay, now I'm getting going.
Yeah.
But I was surprised, like, there wasn't more Texas pride. I was not surprised that there's so much Houston pride. I think
Yeah.
we've gone through so much trauma bonding with like
Well, it was city pride.
hurricanes.
So it could be people who are prideful of Dallas, of
Okay.
Amarillo. So just cities. So
I mean, it makes sense to me though that people in Texas cities like Houston and Dallas or Austin, San Antonio, like what is local is like closest to our
oh
heart.
yeah.
And so, you have those community bonds, and that's really where the pride is. Like, that's really where we want to show off. Like, Astros
Hmm.
parade, bonding after a terrible event.
Redistricting hearings, that's also there. Like, we are very prideful of our city. And you know who else is very proud of H-Town, Laura?
Tell me.
Our newest CityCast Houston neighbors. I want to personally shout out our newest CityCast Houston neighbors, including Brooke L. Not Brooke Lewis. I checked her last name, but it is Brooke L. She was officially our first neighbor. Woo!
Woo, 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 woo.
Good job,
Go
Brooke.
Brooke.
Also, I want to shout out Ian H., Christina S., Ashley S., Ed P. We actually met Ed at our last hangout, our happy hour, while we were celebrating 713 Day. Christopher P., Rachel F., and Kristen T. Join them and become a CityCast Houston neighbor. And you can come hang out with us because we have exclusive CityCast Houston neighbor events coming up, and you can join for just $10 a month. You will also get this special shout out on a future episode. Do it right now at membership.citycast.fm. And you'll also get a shout out on Hey Houston. How about that? Love it. Thank you so much for joining us and becoming our neighbor.
I can't wait to meet y'all. Thank you so much for supporting CityCast Houston.
Thank you, Laura, for joining us as well. And here's to a great week here in H-Town. It's going to be hot, so let's stay cool. That was executive producer Laura Isensee. I've linked all of the stories we discussed in our show notes. Hey, help us grow the show by sharing this episode with 3 friends who live in downtown and might be a little annoyed by those scooters, or maybe not. Also, drop us a rating and review wherever you listen, and please subscribe to the show if you haven't yet. For more Houston news, events, restaurant recommendations, and more, check out our daily newsletter, Hey Houston, with the link in our show notes. Thanks. That will do it for today. I'm Raheel Ramzanali. Thank you for listening, and H-Town forever.